Hello. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I hope everyone is having a pleasant Sunday. Sunday. Greco, hello. Haran, Julian. Hello. There's going to be no LLVM today. Almost guarantee it. Does Cat, hello. I've weird issue on YouTube, which I don't think really affects many people, but I can no longer gift the 10 or so free memberships that I'm allowed to gift a month. In fact, it won't even let me purchase them. So I've literally just started a chat with YouTube support, so I'll be doing that alongside today's stream as well, to see if we can get to the bottom of that together collaboratively. Oh, plenty of Lua docs. Look up. So. Have you ever used the pawn scripting language? No, I've not. I'm not very familiar with that, I'm afraid. Yeah, I hope the suggestion is not, have you tried turning off and on again? Because I'm live. I'm here right now. I'm doing it. This is not pre-recorded. How am I doing today? I'm doing great, thanks. Yourself? Question mark. If this gets tedious, I'll just hang up. That's not a term for chat. I'll disconnect and we'll do it later. But I'm kind of curious to figure out what's going on, and I'm very surprised I'm through to a human. I mean, not confirmed human yet. We'll see. Good afternoon. Hello. Exciting news. Also, more Nightbot commands. Whoever wants to rush to the respective platforms to test them for me to check they work. So we already have Bang Code and Bang Discord. Okay, we should now have bang.files. Nice, okay. Bang setup. Yeah, I mean, whatever, Java and OpenGL is a good idea. It's a great idea if it's what you can use to make a game, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Connor, hello. So we got that. Did I see that on both? Did that not come through on YouTube? Okay, fine. YouTube is a little bit slow. Yes, I can no longer gift them live. I used to have 10 a month. And now I have 0. Okay, Bang theme. Of course, I mean, it shouldn't be too surprising that you can nest stud vectors, right? Because it just takes a type, and stud vector itself is well, once you've given it a type, is itself a type, so you can keep nesting them. I'm not turning off and on again. Not live. Yeah, of course, you can just keep putting more and more types in them, right? Do I receive an error? I don't think so. No, the option is just not there. I'm not sure if I'm speaking to a real human. And then, which one do we have? So Bang Ret. Oh, can I send you a screenshot? I don't think I can. I don't think the app can. This app has no option for attaching images. I mean, the limit will be whatever is your memory limit for the compiler, right? So there will potentially be a limit, but it's not specified by the standard. It's more of a limitation of your hardware. I was working somewhere once, and the screen kept flickering, and I contacted support. I was like, "Hey, my screen keeps flickering," and they're like, "Can you send me a screenshot of the issue?" I was like, "Well, no, like that's not how you capture the essence of flickering. Because even if I could, it would be a single frame, and how would you tell whether that was the flicker on or off state?" Okay, he's asked me to use Google Drive, so I've given up. We'll try that later. Okay, I think that's all our new commands. Exciting! Look at all that sweet engagement that we've just achieved by forcing everyone to type loads of things. So we'll see. It's just annoying because also for anyone on YouTube, not that I'm suggesting you do this, but in the chat there's like a show support with like super stickers and super chat. Is it just those two options, or can you, and I'm not saying you should, but is there the option to purchase memberships, or am I just missing that, or is everyone missing that? Maybe I can help support along the way by giving them all the information that they need. A resounding. Okay, so it's just me. I care. Okay, fine, whatever. I'll move on with my life. Okay, code. How weird, it's just me. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on it. I have other problems to solve. Namely, what are we doing with our lives? Where did we get to? So we started hamming in some functionality into the Lua. We connected that up reasonably coherently to the C++, and it was all starting to look pretty good. That was it. So we have the frustum culling working. So when we're not looking at something, it doesn't get rendered, but it also sets a state on the object to say whether it is currently visible. And we need to get that information into the Lua. Once that's in the Lua, we can then strip out a load of C++ stuff that we no longer need, pair it right back, and then just start writing Lua scripts. I've had a couple of ideas for some other interesting mechanics. So we can start pairing those together. We also need to do the reset level. So I think we're just going to churn through some of that today. There's just some some stuff we need to get through, and we'll see where we end up. So yeah, so how to visible in Lua and other English sentences. Asset? Is it in assets? Level Lua? Okay. Oh, he's still chatting with me. Okay, he's a keen bean. There's a couple of ways of doing this, I suspect. I think we can probably get, for one, we can probably get rid of a lot of these print statements now. I'm reasonably happy they're called. This array has to contain the state information we care about. Okay, that's at the moment it's just a position because that's all so far we need to care about, and we can synchronize that between the Lua and the C++ via barrel count and barrel position. The frustum culling is all done in C++ ahead of time, not ahead of time, as in a priori to us executing this script. So at the point the script has executed, the entity should have set visibility already called. So I think we probably just need to poke that into the Lua. There's probably a better way of marshalling like a large set of state between the game and the Lua, but I just don't think we need that machinery yet. I'm not really creating a framework or an engine. I'm just writing a game, and I'm doing the bare minimum. This should have been a command. I'm trying to do the bare minimum required to get to a game, but I definitely want Lua scripting as part of that. So, bang bare minimum. Maybe as a framework. It's definitely not an engine. I think that's the key thing. I'm not having that. That's for a different stream. Oh, we could have bang engine, as in like command, not engine. Or I don't know if that'd be confusing, and I don't know if it would support that. But well, I think it would have to be. I don't think it would be bang engine. Maybe we'll see. Okay, so I think I'm just going to keep this simple, and we're just going to poke that boolean in through the Lua. It kind of couples the Lua level code to the C++ a little bit, but for now, like that data has to get into here somehow, and I don't think it's worth spending any more time figuring it out. What that does mean, though, is oh, have I got a mistake in my Nightbot? Let me fix that super quick. So that was in bang ret. It shouldn't have a trading return. I'll remove the brackets and grammar it differently. Use a colon. Update that. Okay, and then wherever Nightbot the second is, because you have to log in on two separate. You have to log in separately for the different accounts, which is great. I love it. One of my favorite features. Okay, if you bang ret now, then hopefully things will happen. Nightbot strikes again. I don't know, we've had some issues before, so unfortunately I have to be a little bit overzealous. Just Neon, I was doing great. Probably better than you were after you got banned, and I apologise for that. I'll see if I can dig out the settings somewhere. As far as I'm aware, trading return type has absolutely no effect on the generated code and the compilation. We'll go through a separate path because it has a slightly different thing in the grammar, but I think once you've tokenized it and lexed it to an AST, it will just look the same regardless of the order of the tokens. I would guess. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's very minorly different. Like, it has to go through two different paths in the lexer, presumably, because it's different tokens, but I think it produces the same AST. Okay. How do I... Ooh. Which one is this? Right. Logs? Where is that person? And I think they just get a warning or a timeout with Nightbot anyway. We'll see what happens. Okay, right, let's get on with it. I have like very few ban words on Nightbot, and I'm kind of okay with no swear words, so it doesn't really, unless they're excessive, so it doesn't really worry me. Okay, so let's go to Lua script because I'm kind of beating around the bush actually doing anything here. So Lua script allows you to, is the first layer of abstraction over the Lua script, somewhat descriptive name. It gives you C++ wrappings around the C API and allows you to speak in terms of C++ vocabulary types. So I'd be like, hey, I need to set some arguments you know, with a string view or our internal type and get the results, blah, blah, blah. It's not the best way to use Lua script because this is still quite verbose. There is another abstraction built on top of this. It's all in bang code if you're interested. But we need to set an argument of a bool, and last time we did this, it didn't work, and I gave up is the wrong word. I decided it wasn't worth fixing there and then, but we now need it, so we'll go and properly add it. So the issue is, if I do, I'll show you what the issue is. Let's go. It's going to be something like Lua L push boolean Lua.get value, and this obviously needs to be bool. Okay. Isn't it like not? Isn't it a macro or something gross? Yeah. Where's the Lua tests? Right. This will. If this builds, it will break the tests, and we'll go through why, and then we'll fix it. Shouldn't state be in a Lua state file. There is a. We do have a. I don't know what you mean. Which state? I chose Lua because I've used it before, so I have some experience in using the Lua C API. As if you tuned into any of the early streams, not as much experience as I was hoping I might have, but enough to kind of do some damage and get to where we're going. I didn't want to sort of have to figure out too much extra live. Again, if you're gonna, I've sort of come to the conclusion several times that if I'm going to stand up and talk to, I don't know, 100, 150, 200 people, I should maximize the chance of me actually making some progress. So I tend to stick with what I know. Although saying that, the whole Jolt physics escapade was totally brand new to me, and that was quite good fun. Yeah, I used the hash thing to return the length of the array because it seemed the easiest way at the time. I know that has implications if the thing is not a true array, and we might change it later, but it was enough to get going. I've had reasonably good success with Claude, but I know it has a free tier, then you have to pay for it. I pay for Copilot and tend to use its chat app as well, and then point at either Copilot or either Claude or Gemini. No, it definitely has push boolean or something to that ilk, because it's literally here. Yeah, I write some code and then I read chat, and then I write some code and then I read chat, and I try and flip between the two to kind of keep things going smoothly. But yeah, it can be a little bit distracting, but it's fine. I think I'm okay at managing it. I turn Copilot off for the streams because I think it's more important to puzzle it out for ourselves rather than just blindly accepting LLM generated code. But I still do think it is useful. I just don't want to use it live. Oh yeah, is it Lua? Thank you. Okay. So hopefully this breaks our tests. Okay, cool. Test broken. So if we Lua script tests, where's it failing? ToString. So the problem is that so this test here checks that if I set a bunch of arguments, if I call toString on the Lua script object itself or format it, it dumps the stack. That's a really kind of important debugging primitive for us that we spent some time doing, and it works very nicely with std format and std println and all that kind of stuff. So we spent a bit of time faffing around with that, so we can just literally print our script and it'll dump the stack. So here it should set a number, sorry, an integer, a float, a string, and a function, and then it should print in reverse order because it's a stack, a function, a string, a number, and a number. Now it prints a function, a boolean, a number, and a number. It's this here has become a boolean because we said set argument, which seems a little bit strange, but it makes sense because if you go back to the header file, what's happening is this string view, a C string literal will match a string view. There is a implicit cast between it, and the language allows you to do one implicit cast. So it's like I've given it a C literal, a C string. I haven't explicitly told it how to handle a C string, but it goes through all these and goes, string view. I can convert my string literal to that, so I'll call that. The problem is that a string literal, as in a C const char pointer, can also be implicitly converted to a bool because it's a pointer. So this will become true if that pointer is not null, which will always be true because I've got an actual C string. And this is annoying. The annoying thing is that this is considered a better match than this rather than an equal match. If it was an equal match, then it wouldn't compile. Which is why this is like a real subtle bug that can creep in. So yeah, that's kind of the issue, and there's a couple of ways we can solve it. Yeah, it's really annoying. You could probably dig into more about like the precedence of like casts and why this is considered a better match and stuff like that. I don't want to go too much into it now because I can't remember the specific details and I wouldn't want to say something that was wrong, but basically this is considered a better match rather than an equal match, so I'll pick this. So there's probably two things we can do. There's three things we could do, right? You could do tag dispatch, right? So we could add an optional thing on the end, which the standard does in a lot of places, like stood in place T, I think, for some of the things. We could rewrite this as and use a concept to say only enable this if it is actually a bool, which will basically turn it into a template, which we don't want. I think the easiest thing to do, though, is to just provide an even better match for what we want. This it will be unambiguously pick because it is exactly that type, and then we don't have to worry about it. And then we can just construct that into a string view ourselves and pass it on to the one we want. So this should, I'm hoping, unambiguously solve our issue. So we've got string view. And then we should be able to just forward that on to set argument string view value. Yeah, I'd rather, you could, I think, potentially use const bool ref, which would prevent the cast, but I think this is clearer, personally. Yeah, same as, isn't that effectively making it a concept, right? Wouldn't that become a template, and then you would either sine it or use a concept to restrict it? Yeah, no, it's good to know that there's C++, there's 10 ways of doing everything, and they're all wrong in their own like unique and special way. Cool, okay, so that fixed that. So now we can poke a boolean in. So if we go back to our Lua script, I think we should just be able to, like, it's a little bit gross, but something like function set barrel visibility, right, on an index, and then do, right. So here we're gonna have to change the code slightly because barrels are no longer going to want just a position, they're going to want some additional data on them, so this is going to have to be an object itself. So in Lua, how do I do that? Lua create object. I'm not actually that much of an expert in Lua. I'm not an expert in anything I do. There should be definitely that as well. Yeah, it is best practices in C++. Best practices in any language should change because it means the language is evolving and there are newer and better ways to do the old thing. But C++ is so old that there is a lot of evolving advice. I want something like right. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? I think I want something like position equals that. Visibility equals true. Is that lure? Am I luring? Oh, these warnings are gonna have to go away at some point. This is doing my nutting. Okay, it seems to be okay with that. So I think I need to do some sentiment analysis on chat, and if anyone is positive towards trigraphs, they get banned. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think it's for the safety of everyone. So barrels 2 dot position, barrel 2 dot position, and this will be barrels 1 dot position dot position, and then dot position, and then we can do barrels visibility. So we can do barrels dot visibility equals visibility. Okay, do I need a better settings file for my lure? Where would that, is that like something checked into the repo at the root? Does that something I have to load into the Lua object? Like, how does it know? Is it like an environment variable? I've thought about putting music on the back of these, but I definitely want to cut these up in the future into, sorry, I fully have the intention, but maybe not the time to cut these up into the future into more sort of technically focused bits, and then I think the backing music would be annoying, especially with cuts. So unless I could, and it's also quite a divisive thing. Some people like it, some people don't. So I've kind of opted for none. You are more than welcome to supply your own music or hum along to yourself in the background. Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Then feel free to hum your own tunes, make your own kind of music, sing your own special song. Yes. Yeah, I suspect. Well, because I've got the I've got a Lua LSP installed, so I suspect it 100% does not know all the magical C++ stuff I've kind of like smashed into the beginning of it. It's fine. You've got to see through the noise. Yeah, I'm not writing my own LSP. 936. Oh yes, thank you. That was supposed to be a dot. The P is nowhere near the dot, so not quite sure how that happened. Okay, so I think we're getting there. So when we do update level, we do if barrels 2 dot visibility. The end of? No. What am I doing? I've had a total meltdown today with my brain. End. Thank you. And I don't need that. Oh. It's been a long day. I always stream like quite late in the day, or reasonably late. If thing then, yeah. Not really in like the Lua headspace today, which is fun seeing we're going to be doing a lot of Lua. Right, if the barrel is visible, then update it. End. Job done. So let's get back to something I have a chance of understanding. So in the update, going to go through here. We set the barrel position, and then we also want to do the cool update. You have to loop through them all twice. That's a little bit annoying because I need to tell it whether it's visible or not, update it, and then get the latest position back. I don't think there's any way with the current system that we have to not do it twice. Dot execute barrel set position index static cast stood int 64t index entity dot is visible. See if that blends. See if it blends. This is true. It's true. It's a public holiday for us tomorrow, so I can carve it. Missing barrel set position. Oh, because it's set visibility, isn't it? It's not wrong, and at least that's a reasonably useful exception message as well. Oh, and I need to do the index +1. You're right. I was like, why did I have to static cast it when I didn't before? Just thank you. Glad someone's paying attention. Oh yes, you're right. We'll get there in the end. Okay, right, so this should move, and if we stick it on this cross section here, and then we look away, go for a little jolly over here, I think he's staying there. And then, whoop, whoop, whoop. But then if we look here, whoop, whoop. So this is the only thing we're going to have to think about at some point is, and I don't know if we care if we just consider it a quirk of the game, if you just get the box in, the bounding box in, but not the object, it will still move. Oh no, where's he gone? There we go. So here, I would argue, I would posit to you that you cannot see the barrel at this point, yet it will still move with you. Whether we care or not, I don't know. I'm probably not going to go anything more deep than simple frustum culling. I don't really want to do visibility raise or whatever the OpenGL occlusion check is. I think that's just a bit of a philosophical question, whether the barrel is wrong or the floor is wrong. In some ways, it's all wrong. Yeah, we could. I think we might have to maybe add some sort of fudge factor to it or something, or have like. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm not that fussed at the moment. I'm not fussed. Okay, that's cool. So we basically now recreated the majority of the functionality, I think. The only thing we need to do is restart level. Which I think should be easy for us to do actually right here, right now. So we can take this and do this. Yeah, the never to do list. It's getting pretty long now. If we, yeah, okay, fine. Obviously, the player doesn't reset. That needs to be into the player object, I think. But we can kind of infinitely finish this level now. Oh, is it not? Why is it not finishing now? What about? It's a bug. Either I cannot get them close enough, or there's a bug there. I suspect actually I just cannot quite get them close enough. That's true, we could do that. So this seems to, yeah, this seems to infinitely, as soon as I look away, obviously I think the tolerance, so the suggestion was we can just now call reset level, which is nice. And then I think the tolerance for completing this needs to be, let's make it 1.0. I need to do hot reloading at some point. That I do want to do, but I kind of want to write some levels first before we do any more back-end stuff. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so if I can get this, yeah, okay, fine. It was just had to be a little bit too accurate. Okay, cool. Okay, right. So let's comment this up. Oh, that seems sad. What? Like I don't think that's the case, right? Do it the old school way. There is a curiously close other PID. Let me just quit out of this. Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm just going to delete that log file, right? Add set argument verbal, and then yep, that's fine. I want that, and then I want to integrate visibility into Lua. Now, okay, cool, got there. That was fun. Sometimes you just got to delete the lock files. Books for intermediate or advanced concepts. I assume you mean general concepts, not C++ concepts, because unfortunately that is now a word with meaning. The two advanced books probably be, what have I got? I've got the templates book, and I don't have a copy of it at the moment, but I need to get one. The concurrency book are probably my two go-to advanced books, I would say, because they're kind of advanced in very specific niches. Book, where is it? Where's C++ concurrency? I think it only goes up to 17, but it's an incredible book, very very detailed on just concurrency. And then the templates book is, I think this only goes up to 17 as well, so it doesn't include concepts. I'm really hoping they're going to do a third edition for that. This is an incredible book, but it's pretty hardcore. My favorite book in C++. My absolute favorite C++ book is Effective Modern C++. Only goes up to 14 because Scott retired. How dare he? But it's just a great book on just like, it's not a book for learning C++. It's a book for using the C++ you know already better, and I think there's a distinction there. Yeah. I should write a book on templates and charge 53 quid a pop. It is hardback though. Right. You get your money's worth. That is a dense book, that. Can I share those links? Sure. Well, that could have been shorter. This is not an Amazon link, but it's fine. Where's Effective Modern C++? But if you like books and you learn well from books, these are generally the sort of more advanced books I recommend. But bear in mind, these are the first two are very specific. They're very niched books on very specific parts of the language or the application. Well, concurrency is just like the application of the language to that niche, I guess you could say. But they're great books, well worth a read. I quite like a. It depends. Like a physical book. Like I do like flicking through the pages, and it kind of means you're away from a screen, so you're kind of focused on doing that. However, if you need like code samples and stuff, it's super easy to copy and paste from something digital. So there's swings and roundabouts, right? But yeah, if you want to just like delve into a subject, I think it's quite nice to sit there with a book, undistracted. Okay, Okay, what we're doing, we've hammed in booleans, we've hammed in the visibility, we've got that. Oh, I want to finish off the reset because it's not quite how I want it. Civil Copilot. So was it reset? What do I call it? Restart. So the level itself has a restart method. I think the player needs a restart method, and it will just snap back the camera to the original orientation and position. I think that's what we need. And then that'll be pretty much that bit done. Job done. Halfway through the stream. Achieve loads. Yeah, reset is as if the level had just been loaded or initialized. So resetting the level is effectively, yeah, back to how it was when we first started. So all the things go back to the original place, etc., etc., etc. So let's do auto reset void. Oh no, let's keep a common vernacular going. Player auto player restart void, and then what can I do with a camera? I can set the position. It's annoying. I can only adjust the yaw and the pitch. I need to be able to reset. I'm going to need to be able to reset or set the yaw and the pitch. I don't know if we should just have set yaw, set pitch, or if we just should have reset orientation, which gives you back to the standard one, because the constructor at the moment always initializes it to the same orientation. So the ability to override it is actually more powerful than we need. Or could do both, I guess, or do one in terms of the other. Yeah, I'm just kind of, a lot of this is me thinking out loud. What CPU do I have? That's a good question. What do I have? About this PC. I have a 10th gen i9, 3.7 gigahertz. And a 3080 RTX. Yeah, maybe not the social, maybe not my national insurance number today. I'd like to upgrade, only just for something a bit more, like 4000 series card. I think is slightly better for streaming. I think it gives you better access to slightly better codecs. So I'm tempted to upgrade at some point, but not right now. Like what I've got now is pretty good. The fans only occasionally stop spinning and it overheats, which is nice. There is only a small air bubble in the CPU water cooler, which clicks at an annoying frequency. So you know, the kind of stuff you can deal with. Let's do set your and set pitch. Like most things I own or have built, because I did build this rig, there's a little bit of jank in it, but I feel like it's part of the character. Okay, so what are we doing here? I think we can just do this. Actually, can we just do adjust pitch with pitch minus, sorry, adjust your with your minus your. Wonder if that would work. Not that, because that'd be 0. I'm not sure if I've got the order and the negation the right way around there. We'll soon figure it out. This just signifies that it's a member variable. It's just a personal convention I use. These are all the member variables that have an underscore, and it effectively disambiguates them from local variables which might have the same name, which means that they don't have to use like this qualifier. Yeah, you just keep adding 1 until it works, right? Eventually wrap round and you'll cover all the numbers. Okay, so let's bring this over here. Let's change this for this. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do the other. Restart should allow us to whatever our initial pitch and yaw is. I think it's set yaw minus the numbers. Pi v float over 2.0f, and then set pitch to be 0.0f. Give me all the numbers, include all the numbers, every single one, please. And these are going to want to be on a camera object. You can't just randomly call those. That's not how this works. Oh, okay. He says, missing out the underscore that he just said he always puts in these things. Is that not a member? Yeah, what's it chat about? We could have an iNumber factory. Wait, is that the interface, or is it producing interfaces for numbers? I assume you mean your factory is itself an interface. Which makes sense. Might have more than one factory. What am I doing wrong? Why am I being stupid? Oh. I am a bit stupid, sorry. I don't know where that came from. Having a funny day today. No, that was just only funny 5 minutes. I'll need to beat myself with the over the head with the C++ template book in a minute. Right, okay, so hopefully now, if we start doing this... do I actually call it from the game? No. Okay, so player.restart. Oh, I've got to reset the position as well, haven't I? Game. Player camera dot set position. I think if I... Hello? Because I didn't start at the origin, I need to preserve that. Fine. Okay. It will be... Let's do... fine. Vector 3, start position. It's also like annoying little like nitty gritty bits for all this. Position, and then all right, let's try that. I think it's even easier than that. I don't think I need to implement backface culling. I think I just need to enable it, and I've just not yet. Oh, come off here. It's not. It's literally not. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. Wait a minute. Oh. Right, okay, so the problem is I was calling it in the wrong place, obviously. Now I don't actually have the player as a member, which means I can only use it from that one function. Oh, this is going to be an absolute pain in the ass now, because I need the bus there. Okay, so the issue is, so basically everything lives in run. Run is called once and doesn't end until the game ends, because it's got the game loop in it, or the event loop. Well, it has the game loop in it, which means it simplifies a lot of things, especially in terms of lifetime, because I just allocate it at the start of this function, and then everything lives within this stack, the stack of this function, and then we do things, and then the function ends and all gets cleaned up. The problem is that player is constructed here on the stack, which means I cannot access it from a helper function here. Well, sorry, from a member function here. So if I make it a member, I will then have to initialize it in the constructor, which means I'll then have to put the message bus in there, which means I'll have to then make that member, and it's all just a bit annoying. It's just a bit of refactor work. What I'm basically saying is, like, this is annoying. Messaging, message bus, hash include game player. I'm hoping there's not a weird circular reference here with the message bus and the subscriber, but we'll find out. Message bus boost player, and then we'll hoist this up. So message bus will be default initialized, then player will have oh, I need to do the window as well. I guess I'm gonna have to just start moving a bunch of this out. It's just annoying. Could make player a unique pointer and then only construct it in the run. It doesn't feel right. There's window. There's window when it's at home. Oh, it's just there. Okay, let's try this then. So also you're going to need to have window. 920 U 1080 U 1920 U 0U. Oh, it's just bus, isn't it? Not message bus. Okay. BDF underscore. Okay, right. So now player can consist of a auto game camera, create camera, and this one needs to take a const, I think, game window, okay, and then yank that, stick that there, put that there, do CT that, turn, too many games. All right, okay. Game camera, okay. Okay, fine. So then player can be whatever player takes, which I think is the bus and the create camera window. And then this should probably be in here. Thanks for coming along, That's the Cat. Hope you have fun, sleep well, hope you're well rested for tomorrow. Catch you later. Yeah, I really I'm gonna write a mare today. Right, so don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. So let's go and fix up all this misery that we've wrought upon ourselves. So window, that, and that. That, and then window there, and then window there, and window there. And then, what was the other one? Player? What was that? Like that. And then the other one would have been the boost. Bus. Oh, missed that there. Cheeky. Okay, fine. Probably don't need that anymore either. This will work. Aaron is convinced that I'm going to have to break the my Kyber crystal because of the C++ misery I'm inflicting on everyone. That is an incredible joke, by the way. Absolutely top notch. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, that is unbelievably niche in two separate spheres, and that is where the best jokes are. Bringing together semi-obscure Star Wars lore and semi-obscure C++ lore. Right. Okay. So now, if I complete this level, it feels a little bit jarring, and that barrel is getting further away. It's getting further and further away, that barrel, from where it started. Look at this. I come back to the beginning and because I'm not even looking at it now. What? What? Okay. So just Zoot. Hello, welcome. I'm One. I'm glad you found the videos and you're enjoying them. Thanks for coming along to the live stream. Hopefully you find it interesting. My usual weasel words are I take a note of every video suggestion people give me. However, I can make zero promise if and when I'll get to it. However, if you are so inclined, it would make my life a little bit easier if you pop on over to the Discord and put it in the video suggestions thing, just because I'm not really taking that many notes as I'm doing this live, and I would hate for me to miss it. Whereas Discord's a little bit more permanent. If you can, that would be grand. Better late than never, so I'm glad you're here. Right, so those barrels there, not a huge amount of space between them, right? Also, is the orientation reset as well? Okay, so that's broken. There's two things that are broken here. One is orientation isn't correctly reset. The other is the objects aren't correctly reset either. So if there's not that big a difference between them. So if I finish the level, it's linear as far as I can tell. It's not like exponential, but it is wrong. It's all part of what the streaming gig's all about. It's building a community and chatting with people and writing terrible C++ and having fun while we do it. Right. Two things to fix. I'm going to fix the camera first because I feel like it was kind of like the last thing we were doing, and it's a little bit annoying if you're looking around and you can't get back to where you are. So is it the yaw or is it the pitch? I'm going to try and test them individually. I've used Ogre 3D before. I really like it. It's a lot of, like, it supports a massive range of stuff, even like the old fixed pipeline stuff. So I think the API can be a little restrictive, although I believe, isn't it like Ogre 3D version like 3 or 4? I think they're cutting out a load of the old chuff. I think it's a great way to get started if you're interested in kind of low level rendering but don't want to do all of it yourself. Their samples are great. The community is pretty good. I think Ogre 3D is like an incredible project. This is a really interesting question from Horse, Mr. or Mrs. or they or them. I'm afraid I don't know your title, but from Horse. how do you find the relative fame of running a specialized channel? Is it something you would still do if you had 1 million followers or 1,000 viewers? The concept of fame is very strange to me, and I would in no way say I've achieved it, but I do appreciate, like, my name is sort of slowly becoming more known around people who I don't know personally, which I guess is kind of an aspect of it. No one's stopped me in the street yet, but yeah, I'm bemused and baffled by it, but I find it absolutely fascinating. I really enjoy doing YouTube. Would I still do it? Probably yes, because although it's very hard to say because, well, actually that's a good question. Would I still do it? I think it's hard to say because I didn't start this to get famous, but I did start it to talk about things I'm interested in and kind of build up a community and kind of spread that around. So I guess if I made zero traction in it, I might have given up if I was like posting videos and they were just going nowhere. But YouTube is a real slog, so you have to expect to get like very little traction to start with. I've been doing this nearly 3 years now, and I'd say only in the last year have I started to make any sort of traction with it. So yeah, I think I'd still do it because I'm doing the things that I enjoy doing anyway, right? I would probably still be doing all these projects regardless if I made a YouTube video out of it. I would still be writing terrible C++ and making like terrible games. I would still probably tinkering around, reverse engineering things, pulling things apart, seeing how they worked. I would probably do it regardless. But the fact that I can kind of share that interest around is a massive positive. Yeah, bag's gone soon. Yeah, I'd say I'm not phased by it, but it's fascinating, and I really enjoy doing YouTube, and I have no plans on stopping anytime soon. I still try and do 1 video a month, which is pretty small beans compared to people who can churn out a lot more content, but because of the complexity of it, I think it's a reasonable cadence to try and stick to, although I provide my usual weasel words of most things. I'm very non-committal, and I cannot guarantee it'll be 1 a month, but I do try for that. Well, I think if I look up, right, and then I finish it, I think it's the addition. I either need to subtract it. I think it's this. Anyway, I rambled for a bit there. I don't know if that made any sense or in any way answered your question, because I was very unprepared for it, but that's the joy of doing things live. Can't always... You can't know the questions ahead of time. Yeah, I kind of like there are two sides of the same coin to a certain extent, and I enjoy doing both, and I've done both professionally. I would say I'm more of a C++ programmer than I am a reverse engineer, but they also have distinct areas in like the content. The videos are definitely reverse engineering, and the live streams are more like I'd say a bit more my bread and butter, writing C++. So it means I get to kind of do both, and there's different communities who show up to both, and that's great. And then we kind of all get together in the Discord, which is nice as well. Right, so let's see if this works. That feels better. That's wrong, but this is definitely better. If I back up to this guy, stand all the way over here. Okay, fine. First problem solved. Second one's a strange one. What we're working on right now, we're trying to make a little game, self-contained game from scratch in C++ and OpenGL. It's going to be a little puzzle game. we're seeing how it goes. We're nearly 50 streams in, and you've seen what we've got. Do I have an explicit intent to keep the videos focused on RE? It's a tricky one, because like you have to, if you want to find success on YouTube, you have to play the game, right? There is an algorithm or algorithms. There's kind of ways you can package and produce the content. There's multiple inputs to it. YouTube, by and large, will reward you for being consistent with the same kind of content. So I probably will stick with that for the moment, because it's just how the videos get pushed, right? You upload a video, YouTube will immediately test it with your subscribers and people who have watched a video and shown signals of enjoying it recently, and if they get enough positive feedback from that initial test, it will then start trying it with a wider audience and pushing out wider. So if you massively change the type of content you produce, you won't. Your sort of core audience won't resonate with them, and then YouTube will be like, well, if the people who normally like your videos don't like this, why should anyone else like this? You can see this easily if you look at what was it? It was the putting the image in the thumbnail video. It's a great project. I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun, much more forward than reverse engineering. Didn't really, in comparison to a lot of the other videos, didn't do that well. A lot of the metrics were down. I was expecting it. It was kind of a gamble, I guess, because it's not obviously about game reverse engineering, and it's hard to package it up. Well, I was very limited with how I could package it, because the whole shtick was this thumbnail is a game, so I can't really do much about it. So I think every now and then, I think it's good to experiment and throw in something new every now and then, but I'll be mainly focusing on content that I know that I enjoy making and I know does well. Bit of a sidetrack there. Yeah, so Iris was my original game engine. I started off YouTube, just so I thought, I'm going to talk about this game engine I wrote. And it has a lot of problems and is not the best in the world, but there's quite a lot of good code in there. This also has Lua scripting in it, which is where I got the original sort of knowledge for. It's kind of similar to what we've done before. This uses bullet rather than jolt. It's got full skeletal animation. There's bounding boxes. You can't really see it around all the skeletons, so you can do kind of per skeleton collision. It had shadows. Here you go. It supports D312, Metal, and OpenGL. Windows, Linux, macOS, and iOS. Has a bunch of post-processing effects. It has Lua scripting. It's very similar to like this is quite similar to what I've got here. A lot of the lessons I learned writing this, I pulled into writing this game. This is how all the rendering works, which isn't great, but it does have some nice diagrams. What I liked about this is that you could build up a render graph based on a graph itself. So you could say, like, you could use node based, so you could create nodes and connect them together. So here's how you could create. Although the engine supports Bloom as a first class feature, you could actually recreate Bloom in the render node framework. So you'd have like an arithmetic node and a conditional node and a blur node, and it would come through and it would internally compile all this to the shader language that you were targeting. So this would become GLSL, HLSL, MSL under the hood. So it had like a mini compiler in it, and I was quite pleased with that. That was quite cool. It had a little bit of networking, which never really worked. It had a bit of concurrency, which never really worked. It had logging, which was even worse than the logging I've got now. There's a lot of stuff in it. The scripting here is, you'll see here that the script runner, I basically have taken this and simplified it into what we've got now. So this sort of script runner idea was not new. I'd kind of half implemented it before. Yeah, so I mean, like, it's all open source, and people want to have a look. It's architecturally a little bit annoying. I kind of backed myself into a corner. So like a lot of the hot loop in the rendering has to do like, well, it doesn't has to, but they have to do like dynamic allocations and stuff, and I found it quite difficult to back out of that. I basically was fudging my way through DirectX 12 and Metal abstractions, and didn't do a particularly good job of it. And now it's quite hard. It's quite hard to maintain that, especially as it also supports OpenGL, which is why I just wanted to just focus purely on OpenGL for this and none of the other stuff. Okay. Is anything written in assembly? So that's a yes. I wrote a. What did I write? I wrote a thread-based task scheduler. Well, it has two. Yeah, sorry, it has two scheduling systems: a thread-based one and a fiber-based one. And then the fiber one on Windows. Where's the implementation of this? I think counter is replace. I could replace this now because I think C++20 has stood latch, so I could get rid of that. I'm trying to think where's the oh, I want the source. Source jobs fiber. Here we go. So Windows Fiber is super easy because it's a first-class citizen of the API. You just have this like switch to fiber stuff. On POSIX, I had to roll my own. Where's the implementation of this? It's been so long since I've looked at this. Maybe it isn't include. Jobs 6. Yeah, in order to change the stack, which isn't something you can only do in C++, I had to hand roll some code which allows you to change the stack and patch up the return call. So fibers could kind of migrate between threads, and you have to be able to copy change effectively the stack between them. So you could start a job on one thread, and then it would finish on another. And then you have to save the current context and restore that, which Windows does all for you. So what are the odds that a year post this game project you'll be building another engine, stealing/borrowing implementations are very, very high. I would like to keep making games live, like reasonably self-contained projects that we kind of do as much from scratch as possible, but probably build on what we had before. So take like the vector class, all the maths classes and some of the rendering code from this, and then maybe build like a deferred renderer instead. Or I don't know, maybe not forward plus renderer, but I don't know, use what's it? Where you compute the visibility in a compute shader, and then where you build the draw commands in indirect drawing. That's what I want. Maybe like a deferred renderer with like indirect drawing. You know, kind of make the render a little bit more advanced. I'd quite like to do an FPS. I think that'd be fun. And then eventually, after several projects, the code we wrote will naturally become an engine, and then I might just pull that out and open source just the engine bit. That's kind of my plan, is to organically build an engine by just making lots of games and just reusing code. Yeah, I've got no shadows or anything in the minute. I think I did whatever the most basic. It wasn't even PCE shadows, PFP. It was the most basic shadows I had in the other one. Yeah, I'd like to do GPU-driven rendering, but still in OpenGL. I have just very little desire to try and do Vulkan live. But I still think with OpenGL 4.6 you can get quite a lot of the way. So I think that would be quite cool, and I'd like to do a deferred render as well. Yeah, PCF. I think that's it. I had the basic shadow map where you just render the depth from the camera, and then something maths query whether the thing is in shadow or not. Right. So why is my restart level being strange? Oh, that's cool. So we could do that. Yeah, I think just keep it simple as that. Like, I'm not going to be pushing the bleeding edge. I'm not going to be doing like ray tracing anytime soon. I'm not going to need to squeeze every last cycle out of it. I think you could make a half decent looking. Like, I would just maybe like buy a full asset pack for an FPS game and build something around that. That's kind of my. After this, let's get this done first. Let's figure out why our barrel is moving. Baby steps. To that end, I don't really understand why this is being, to be fair, a bit of a dick about it. This just sets the position to the same thing each time. How could it possibly be moving unless? Ooh, is it cache the last player position? Does this? Oh, does it? Do I need something like original last player position equals original last player position equals player position. Okay, and then this can go in restart level, and then this should go above here. That work? That won't work. 926 is wrong. Yes. I don't know why I moved it, because that's not the issue. It's wrong. It's wrong wherever it is in that function. I'm not using make. CMake. A Ninja. Yeah. Okay, right, so that's lots. Vomit inducing. We should have some sort of transition, maybe like a fade to black or something, but I think for now, like, that's pretty good. Let's comment that up. So where do we get to with that? So I think this is a perfect opportunity for bang setup. I feel like that might need further clarification because it doesn't really justify why I'm using wine MSVC. Maybe I'll extend that, but it's a good enough place to start. Okay, so where do we get to? What do we do? What's going on? So camera. So add ability to change camera orientation. Nice. Add player restart. Refactor game, and then commit reset level in Lua. Right, cool, getting there. No, C++, there's a lot of verbosity in C++, especially around the templating. It's weird, it's like obtusely powerful, and kind of to get that power out, there's a lot of weird runes you have to draw in the sand to summon the right compiler incantation. It's also, the compiler errors are miserable to read, and that you should definitely feel free to hate on that as well. It's okay to it's okay to not like it. I've got like an errant log level here somewhere. I'll leave that in there for now. Okay. I don't think complexity is a feature in that. Is the fact that C++ is so complicated a positive for it? I actually don't think so. A lot of the power comes from the flexibility, which is great, but it is very hard to read. It's hard to maintain. It's hard to kind of teach and get up to speed with. I'm not necessarily convinced that complexity is a feature, but it's what it is, and we have fun with it, so that's fine. I think we can clean up a bunch of the old C++ now. Speaking of C++ and getting rid of it, I think we can. We don't need any of these other levels now, and we don't need the transformed entity, and we don't need the chain. So I think we can get rid of a lot of that. Source, games, levels, level, Apple, source, games, levels, level underscore kiwi, star, and then source, there, game, transformed entity, and then FG, and then CMake for game. That's okay. CMake for levels. Those are already commented out, so that's fine. So this, I suspect, won't blend because we've probably got some errant include file, but let's go clean those up now. All the best diffs are red. That might be my shortest short ever when I cut that up. I don't know why it censors the colon. All the best diffs are red, unless they're in tests. Oh, I probably want to get rid of the old tests as well. I forgot we had old tests for that. Here RM tests, chain tests, FG, SF, CMake, tests, chain tests. The phrase "it's censoring an ASCII dong" may be one of the most humorous things I read today, so thank you for that. I don't think no. I don't think it's Nightbot. I think it's the platform. I think it's Twitch doing that because Nightbot will always pop up saying, "Hey, I've changed this," and I don't know if it can. I don't think it can modify people's messages. I think it can just remove them. Hasbi, just resubscribing to the channel. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. For people on Twitch, all nearly 30 of you, hello. No, I do have more than that. Is there any... Let me know if there's anything interesting you want to do with channel points. I want to kind of expand the Twitch offering, make full use of the platform, but I don't want anything like disruptive. So I don't know if there's anything interesting. If you have any experience of other people, streamers in this kind of area and what they do, I'm open to suggestions. So games EP. Yeah, but like, is that useful to people? Do you know what I mean? Like, again, I want people to be able to watch this back and still glean some sense of potential technical content from it. So I really don't want it to be too distracting, but I still want it to be fun and engaging. I don't know if those things are mutually exclusive or not. Sometimes my head is in the way. That is true. Now, again, that made one, that's a separate stream. Yeah, because I'd like to maybe cut this up into technical content at some point, so I'm kind of keen to keep it semi-professional. I don't know, because I think, especially doing games, like people spending points to inject some chaos kind of contributes to the gameplay and the community and stuff, but it doesn't really work when you're trying to actually do some work. Okay, fine. So that's working. So let's commit this up. So I'm going to remove old level code. So now we should be able to add another level quick, which does the inverse one we got, where it moves the opposite way, and then we have 2 levels, and we can check we can cycle through them, and then we can start adding some more ones. Yeah, it could. Maybe also like suggest a mechanic or something, but then again, like if it doesn't work, then I'd feel people were buying into something that wasn't feasible. Yeah, I'd be interested in looking to see if there's stuff I can get. So if why is it going so dark? I could get I think because these lights pulse, it affects the light sensor on the camera, and it sometimes gets confused. Yeah, maybe I can do some overlays or something which OBS on like a separate channel, and OBS doesn't like put those out to the file. I guess the VOD would still have them, but it's not the end of the world. I'll have a think about it. I'll have a think with all the free time that I have. Okay, let's level again. So I should be able to just we'll resurrect Kiwi. And then if we do CP assets, the Apple to assets, Lua, steady, Kiwi, Lua, assets, Kiwi. Okay, right. So for this one, we want it to move in the opposite way. I can't remember the actual. I think you just swap these, right? So if I finish this. No, nice. Okay, that was easy. So this one now moves in the opposite way to where the way we move. And again, only if you're looking at it. I get that to line up with the end. Which is actually now proved to be harder than I thought it was going to be. Okay, we reset. Now we're back to the original. Okay, that was easy. Dash F assets level. What do I call it? Level QE. Where did my code go? Did I accidentally amend that? Oh. I should revert this commit. Oh, so annoying. Fat fingered the amend button. Alright, okay, fine. Get rid of this. Ah, what was it? A game? I only want partially. I only want this, don't I? Yeah. Okay, fine. And then everything in tests. That's fine. So that should be commit remove old code, and then add that queue. Go up. Add that. FG into lazy git commit add kiwi lower level. Apologies. We won't make mistakes. Okay. I'm out of water. Hello. I could get a beer after the stream. Right, we've got a bit of time left. What are we doing next? Are we doing more levels, or we have no sense of like target? At the moment, everything is very hard coded to there's one barrel and one target. So if we want multiple ones, we'll have to extend. Well, I suppose we'll just do that in the specific Lua code because we have this concept of is complete. So I guess the Lua is kind of up to, that's okay. There's no color coding at the moment. Before we had the tint. Have we still got that? There's I think it's in the assets. Is there a barrel frag? yeah, you can set the tint color and tint amount, which I guess the Lua level should apply. Well, it can set the callback on the material, which is still a bit of a gross way of doing it, but it would work. You should make your Lua functions local. Yeah, I need to probably do a bit of a review of. I need to brush up on some Lua and kind of bring that in and improve it. It's kind of okay for now, but yeah, I will kind of have a think about why my Lua is terrible. Yeah, I mean we've created a new level and we've done some C++. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. We should bash out some more levels. Let's do a level with multiple barrels, because I think that will then encourage us to re-add the color tinting next time. Yeah, I do have a range withdrawal. Let's do Lua. Okay. What's everyone favorite fruit? What can I pick next? Mango was first. And Quecko, you picked kiwi. Could probably make this. Let's do string view levels equals apple. Let's level apple.lua level kiwi level kiwi.lua and level mango.lua. Okay. And then for const auto level in levels. Level. Oops. What has gone on here? Not my best typing today, I will admit that. Matthias, see it? What's going on? Oh no, you were saying goodbye to someone else. Apologies. I hope you're still here. There is only one way to spell banana though, and that's with the Gwen Stefani song. Person, hello? I have to ban him. It's the only way I can say face now. Okay, so source, nope, assets, mango. Let's this is gonna be a little bit gross to start with, but I think that's okay. Let's do 3, 4, and have this one as minus. Okay. And then is complete distance is less than 0. And distance of barrels 3 dot position barrels 4 dot position is less than 1.0. Okay, and then barrel return 4 barrels. Set the position, set the visibility. That's fine. And then update level we'll do if the barrels 2, and then we'll do 3 yank. If barrels update 4, we'll do last play position minus that. Okay, and then back to the game. Let's make this one our first one. Oops, steady. If I don't get you, Nightbot's gonna get you. Apparently I've made a mistake, which is not surprising. Yes, well done. So this should have the previous two things combined, both going for this and oh hang on, the targets are different, aren't they? The targets are not different, sorry. They're both sat on top of each other. Let's do the first target should be nope, I don't want it in the air. R5 and then make this -5. Okay, so that's surprisingly easy. What if I need to swap them round? It's obviously not obvious where so this presumably won't work. But if I swap them over here, it will work. Okay, I think there's some I think this level here, I might just make it the only level to start with, has some interesting design decisions we now have to cover. So one is the target is not obvious related to the barrel. We can fix that. We've already got machinery to do that, and we will do that in a second. The other one is, what do we do in like this situation? Do we allow them to pass through each other, or should they not pass through each other? I think they can pass through the target because I'm just using the barrel as a placeholder. It could be like an outline or something. I think they should not be able to pass through each other. I think that makes more. And then we can have like static things in the way that don't move that you have to kind of navigate around. Thoughts? Yeah. So static obstacles is a must. Yeah, okay, fine. So I think this simple level here has given us two things to play around with. One of them's quite easy to fix, right? One we can just query the you can just get the state, we can just add more to the state, which is like the tint, color, and level. So we can do, I'm going to abuse vector 3. I know the game has a separate color type, but I just cannot bother to plumb it in at the moment because it's still the same 3 type. So I'm going to abuse vector 3 for this. So vector 3, and this is going to be not, what is it? Oh, not open, not, right, and then tint will equal 1.0. So let's make the dynamic one like half tinted and the static one fully tinted, so it'll just be a pure outline. So let's just plumb this in. I suspect this will probably take us to time, but at least then we'll be set for an interesting problem to solve next time. So RGB. So that's there. So I think we want some like barrel info, and this will return the position, the barrels index dot color, and the barrels index dot barrels index dot tint. It should be vector 3, yes, I've just typoed that, thank you. Okay. Yeah, it might be, yes, that's a good point. It might be interesting to have like red objects can pass through red objects, but they can't pass through other colored objects. I think that would open up a whole world of new interesting mechanics. But let's get this going first. I want to make the colors obvious, and then we'll think about how we're going to do the collisions. So that's that. So now I need to go to the Lua level. So this is now going to be a so position is now going to be a info, and this is going to be a vector 3 and a float, and it's going to be barrel info. Okay, so the position will become std get naught info, and we're going to need to track the. This is going to be a little bit tricky now because we're going to need to track the tints for the entities. So I think we're going to want an unordered map, and we're going to want something like a probably actually just within the Lua level, like a struct barrel info, and then this will have a vector 3 color a float tint. It's technically tint amount. Let's keep that. In color. And then this will have a stud unordered map, entity star barrel info. Okay. Yes, you have to use get, which is a free templated function. Because you can also do it on type, right? I think. Or is that for variant? I can't remember. I think it's overloaded for something else. But yeah, that's just them's the breaks. Okay. So I now need to, when I loop through these, I need to basically do barrel info stud address of entity equals dot tint color equals stud get one info dot tint amount equals stud get two info, something like that. I think that should also be const, right? I need to have a mutable pointer key. Because then this is where it gets a little bit gnarly, and this is a slight limitation on my current architecture, but it's what we've got. I can set resource.get nope, material barrel hang on, I gotta be careful here. I need to do this in the restart function, don't I? I don't store the resource cache as a member variable. Why would I? That'd be useful. Basically, I can apply a callback to the material to say that I need to set those tints during the render function. It's not the best architecture, but it's what I've got, and hopefully it makes sense if I can get to that point. Oh, I do have the resource cache. Okay, right. So, okay. These should all use the member function. That's why, but they don't. Okay, so let's take this. Right. Let's restart. That gives us a pointer. Let's set set uniform callback. Uniform callback. Const auto mat const auto int. Definitely going to want access to this. Okay, right, now we're getting somewhere. So I want to do Ah, yes, that's why. Thank you. I need to do const auto info equals stored ranges find entities. Nope. Barrel info ent. Oh no, I mean, if it's on unordered map, it's already part of it, isn't it? It's just barrel info dot find. Ugh, what a weird API. I don't know what. Anyway. If and then info doesn't equal stored ranges it's the end of barrel info. Alright, this is gonna, so if I have an associated info block from that barrel, so it has done at least one full cycle and gotten it out of the Lua. Sorry, false set one up for failure there. It was my bad. I forgot that this find is a member function rather than a free function. My clang format runs on save, so I guess :W would be my key map. I then want to do mat dot set uniform tint color info dot info dot tint color and set uniform tint amount tint amount. Why is that complaining? Oh, hang on. Dot second. Annoyingly, the solution was to not subclass the runtime error, which is just a little bit annoying. Have I not got a material for? Have I not got a uniform for? Ah, it's for a. This is why I have a separate color. Okay, fine. Quick refactor. In and out. Quick refactor. 5 minutes. Level. So we're going to take the lower level. The C++ lower level, please. We will refactor this to use the proper type, which will be color. Okay, and then at this point we will no, ignore that. You didn't see that. At the point where we wang this in, oh, we could actually, it might actually make more sense. Just worried this is going to lead to some weird issue later on if I explicitly allow this conversion. No, I'm gonna keep it explicit. So we're up here. We'll do. Right. In fact, actually, position, color, amount. All right, because we can do structure bindings on a tuple. And then this suddenly becomes, this is position. And then this becomes, that becomes .r equals color.x dot g equals color.y dot b equals color.z. That takes care of that, and then the tint amount becomes tint amount. Okay, nailed it. No, it was just an issue with my setup, and I just didn't have time to look into it, unfortunately. Okay, that should work. Yeah, hopefully it's just a quirk of a curio of my system. It was just corrupting the watt pointer. It wasn't storing that correctly. Oh, I changed the name of the function, didn't I? Oh, is it not? Where's it going barrel position from? Ugh. Okay, fine. FP barrel info, and then this would be get not. There's no point. No point destructuring or using structure bindings on all the others when I need one of them. I've not changed it on the other levels. That's a good point. So the next level will crash, but I'm kind of just focusing on this one for the moment. But that's an excellent point. I'll try and remember to fix that. I was going to try and load all the levels to start with, isn't it? So mine work. Let's have a quick look at that. I mean, the build command is just do bang bang and it brings it back up, right? I don't see how that could be any more automated with the batch script, because I would end up just using bang bang to rerun the batch script, right? Yeah, there was no colors, which I thought was a bit strange. Let's get the doctor out and have a look. What have I done wrong? I'm all up for using tooling to make my life easier. I just, I'm not, in this particular instance, I'm not sure. Maybe I just don't fully understand your suggestion, because like I said, I just rerun the last command. I don't understand how that can be automated better. Okay, let's have a look at where we're drawing one of these barrels. They're quite chunky. Here's one. Pipeline state. Rasterizer. Nope, shader. Okay. Does not seem to have. Okay, there's a 0. Yeah, I would not call this. I wouldn't call this elegant. Okay, so I'm failing to set these. I suspect. I suspect this is not being called, potentially. I wonder if it's not finding the entity. Oh, am I calling... hang on. Am I not calling restart from the constructor? I think I need at the end need to call restart. This will work. No, I've not used Pix yet. I'm always interested in learning new tools and getting better, but sometimes there's a lot of inertia when there's tools that you know you can do the job with. Nailed it. So this will fail. And this will work. So the next thing to do is to figure out how to get these two not pass each other. I might move myself a little bit closer. This is quite hard to see. I suppose I could always I think having them at definitely not random, but seemingly random positions, so they're not just all aligned on an axis, might make it more interesting. I think having a timer for some levels might be interesting. So you have to kind of figure out how to do it within a certain amount of time or a certain amount of steps. So you can only move so many steps. Oh yeah, see, so now they've already gotten out of sync, which is interesting. So I'd have to put that there, right? Get the blue one lined up, and then back up, so I can only see this guy, and then move him. There you go. That's kind of interesting. So this C++, it's quite modern C++, so it's got ranges and stuff like that. A little bit templating, and then the actual level is Lua, but not great Lua. I'm going to need to kind of spend some time luring better. Let's comment that up. Hang on, no. Do I need to add? I need to add the mango level, don't I? Add mango level and fix hints. There should be separate commits, but what are you gonna do? It is late. Okay, so this is stream 49. That means Wednesday will be stream 50, which is insane. We've been doing this for that long. But I mean, I understand what you're saying, but when I need to update the DB, that's just finding it in the history, right? I could be better. It's fine. I fully accept that, and it's a good point. But I've got kind of a workflow that works for me, and I'm kind of quite happy with it. But yeah, good suggestions. I like it. If people do think there's ways I could be doing better what I'm doing, let me know. I'm always interested. Right, I think that's about all the coding my brain can handle today, I think. Although I do need to start thinking about the next video as well. I hope that was enjoyable for everyone. Next time. More accurate typing would be good. This is about as good as it gets, I'm afraid. It's beer o'clock. How many lines of code? Clock. Just a shade under 6,000, which is really not a lot for what we've got. I generally think that's quite good. Obviously, we've kind of brought in a whole physics engine. That's not including that. About 6,000 lines we've written. Yes, that could be it. It'd be nice if I could integrate that. I think there's another YouTube bot that AC's been telling me about. Is it Firebot? It runs locally, so it might be possible to hook that up so that the command automatically runs CLOC and gets the answer. But they don't support dual streaming yet. So once they've got support for YouTube, I might investigate going over there, and we can maybe bin off poor Nightbot and his overzealous moderation. Next stream, we shall have a think about how we're going to do collision detection, because I think it's going to be tricky. There's kind of two ways we can do it. We can do it in the Lua. We have AABBs, they're quite easy to test, and then we can just, if they intersect, we can not move them, or we can resurrect the physics engine and get that to do it, and then just inform Lua when that collision has happened. Don't know. I'm open to suggestions. Open to suggestions. I did bring in the physics engine expecting to need to do complex collision detection, which means we could also have more complex shapes. I don't want to limit us. So I think maybe we'll resurrect Jolt and see if we can just use it for collision detection. I don't want to run a full physics simulation yet. I think that might be overkill for what we've got. I'm hoping we can just drive it for the collision detection, because I don't really want to mess around with impulses and forces, and I don't want every single barrel to be a character, like a kinematic character controller. I think we might be able to just use that. We might have to change the physics API a bit. I don't know. We'll find out on Wednesday. Won't it be fun for all of us? Yeah, but the thing is that I envision maybe more complex static objects that you would like. I very well might buy an asset pack for this when we know what we want, a bit more about what we want, and it might be nice just to be able to throw assets in there that you can kind of collide with. I guess you could just AABB it all, but we spent quite a lot of streams integrating Jolt, and we've not used it yet, so I don't know. I'm undecided. I'll have a cogitate and get back to you. Yep. Do Discord things. It's good fun. The source code is available. Wow, a facsimile of the code is available. I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to hang around on Discord for a bit. Hope everyone had a good time. Thank you very much for coming along. I had a great time. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. And I will see you all Wednesday. And I think it's this button I pressed.